Morning everyone, at least it's morning at the time of filming this. It's Debbie from Healthily Toned here. We're going to do a little stretch sequence this morning, specifically designed to kind of stretch and strengthen through our lower backs and some of the supporting muscle groups that support our lower back. So we're going to start, we're going to come feet hip width apart, so take the feet together, turn the toes out, and then lift on those heels, and you should be hip width apart. Now, if you have a wall to hand, and I just tried to see if it would work, kind of filming with me against the wall, and it doesn't really. So I'm going to suggest that if you are particularly tight lower back, that you take your hands out to the side, hold the arms up, and move those hips from side to side. Now, particularly good against a wall because that is going to keep you in that position and keep those hips just moving from side to side without getting a cheeky little wiggle involved anywhere at all. So a little bit harder to do from this standing position when you're not supported by the wall, but hopefully you get the idea. So just take it just as far as you can either side, and I'm hoping that you can move a lot further than me, so taking it side to side. And then this is a sort of a routine that I do daily myself, just to get, or attempt to get, a little more movements into that supporting, into that back, and working through those supporting muscles. So let's just bring it down, come into shoulder rolls and rolling it forward. Then I'm going to come to the edge of the mat again. If you have a wall and you can put yourself up against the wall with the feet just as close as you can without falling over, and if you try it you'll kind of get what I mean. But just tuck that chin in, rolling it down. We'll just do some roll downs just to start. So feeling a stretch into that lower back, and then rolling it up as best you can, just one vertebrae at a time. And then roll those shoulders forward, rolling it down, just hold that position, and then rolling it up, kind of one vertebrae at a time, and then just open up through that upper back. I'll do that just because it feels really nice to do that. Let's roll those shoulders forward, rolling it down, just hold it there just for a moment, and then rolling it up again, nice and slowly, and just feel like you are stacking one vertebrae on top of another. So let's roll it down again, and take those hands out. Excellent, just hold it there, and then we're going to come up. Excellent, excellent, well done. So next one, we are going to roll down, and we're going to come to the floor. So tipping that chin in, rolling it down, one vertebrae at a time. Just see if you can walk those hands out a little bit further, and then just coming, either plank position or just bend through those knees just to come down to the floor. So I am going to kind of swing it round. We're going to do some hip bridges next. So let's just come feet hip width apart, and we're just going to roll down. So hold the hands up here, tip through that pelvis, and let's just roll it down just as slowly as we can. There we go. Excellent. And then we come to a comfy position. I'm just going to move a little forward on my mat. So here, we'll do some pelvic tilts just to find our neutral position. So pop those hands on those hips, tip that pelvis back, and then roll that pelvis forward. So when you tip back, you will feel those tummy muscles contract, tighten up. You'll feel that back being pushed into the floor. Tip it forward. You're going to feel that arch into your lower back, possibly a stretch. So somewhere between those twos, that roll forward, that tip back, you're going to find your neutral position. So that's just going to be that comfy position while you're on the floor. So from here, then we're going to come into some glute bridges. We're going to tip, squeeze through those bottom muscles, lift up through those hips, and then rolling it down. Excuse me, frog in my throat. Rolling it down, one vertebrae at a time, nice and slowly. Excuse me. And then tip that pelvis back and squeeze through those glutes, lift it up. So lifting up through those hips again. If you are at all tight in that lower back, you will feel that. Squeezing through those hamstrings, through those bottom muscles, rolling it down. Really trying to take your time with this so that you can feel as much as possible each vertebrae rolling up and rolling down. So tipping back, squeezing into those bottom muscles, lift, lift, lift. Roll it up and then rolling it down. So try and imagine that vertebrae as a string of pearls, if you like, and you are rolling it up and rolling it down. If you ever imagine a string of beads or a string of pearls, just lifting up and rolling it down. That'll give you that visualization in your head and hopefully help you make that connection between what's going on in your spine. So we'll make this our last one, rolling it down. And then that's it, all the way down. Excuse me, we're going to lift one leg, then the other leg, just hug it in. Gently, gently, take that from side to side. And then from here, pop those feet down to the floor. Then, excuse me, we're going to lift one leg. We're going to feel that connection through those tummy muscles. Arms just out to the side, and we are just going to relax through those shoulders and take the leg nice and slowly out to the side. And if you can, just pop those hands on those hips. You want those shoulders just as relaxed as you can, but you want to feel some stability in the pelvic area, in those hips. So you may find if there's kind of anything slightly out of alignment, you'll find one hip maybe wants to try and push up, and if you can, just try and push that pelvis back again to keep that pelvic area just as still as you can, and relaxing through those shoulders. I always have to say to myself, relax through those shoulders, push that pelvic back. So again, you'll feel those tummy muscles contract, tighten up, and that is again just tightening up or whacking through this area just to build some strength through that core so that supports that lower back. This is going to be our last one this side. Bring it back to centre and hug it in. Just as a quick thought, you can, if you're kind of fairly new to exercise or moving, just keep the foot on the floor and do the same kind of thing. If you find it's too much for this area, that is your option. So let's do the other side. So lift and then hands on those hips. So this is where I find my right hip really wants to try and lift up whilst I do this exercise. And I'm saying to myself, relax through those shoulders, creating that tightness through those tummy muscles, and try and keep that hip that right hip on the floor. So I too am a work in progress. So let's take this leg out. We'll do one more after this. Excellent. So pushing back into those hips, relaxing through those shoulders and taking that leg out to the side. Excellent. Again, you'll feel those tummy muscles, those lower abdominals really kick in. Let's lift one leg and then the other leg. Excellent. So another exercise that I quite like to do is just with those knees stacked over those hips and just small circles in one direction, keeping those knees in the circumference of those hips and then back the other way. Excellent stuff. Well done. Well done. So from here we could do some additional strengthening through those tummy muscles. So we're going to keep one leg in this tabletop position, extend through the other leg, hands on those hips, and you can either hover this leg or bring this leg down. So depending on your level of fitness and your kind of core control, you can have the leg off. Again, you want those hands on those hips. We're just going to do a little push away. It does not need to be a big movement at all. And you will really, really feel the tightening of those abdominal muscles as they work to stabilise you. That's their role, really, to stabilise you and keep that spine in that lovely upright position. That is their role. Excellent. So let's make this the last one. Hug both legs in. We will do the same the other side. So lengthening one leg again, leg off the floor, hovered off the floor, or down to the floor, and then little push away. Really relaxing through those shoulders just as much as you can, and that is pretty strong. That is pretty strong, but you're really, really going to work that core, which is what you want to do to keep a nice, lovely spine. So just push it away. Excellent stuff. Well done. Excellent. And let's make this the last one. Hugging it in and gently, gently taking that from side to side. And then we're going to take those hands behind those knees. If we can, we are going to roll up. And your option, if that is not an option, is to come round onto your side and come up to a seated position. So just come here, loosely cross-legged if you can. And then last couple that I tend to do is hold the fingertips, the thumbs against the breastbone, elbows up, out, sit as tall as you can, rotate round. And then other side, rotating round. Excellent. And rotate round. Excellent stuff. Well done. And then just a repeat of what we did against the wall, but seated. Again, and push the way into the heels of the hands and see how far you can take this. I tend to feel this much more upper back rather than lower back. Definitely in a standing position, feel that much more lower back. And let's bring that together. Lovely. So thank you very much for following on with this little routine just to stretch into that lower back and build some strength into those supporting muscles, those glutes and those abdominals to support your spine. If you like that, and I hope that you did, please like, subscribe to my channel and see you again very soon. In the meantime, take good care. Cheers for now. Bye.